Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds podcast, the podcast that you go to listen to all things cricket. That's us. Uh, and speaking of, we're going to start midway through a series, England versus Pakistan. We have just witnessed an insane finish where it was Pakistan's game to lose, really, and then they almost lost it, and then they won it at the end, which was crazy. And the game finished about 10 minutes ago, so we're all a bit still getting over the end result. Benj, what are your raw reactions from this game?
I feel right now for Liam Dawson. Like, I'd hate to be him right now because he'll be absolutely gutted. I mean, after smoking that 19th over for what, 20,
Yeah.
29 was it off the over he took?
So
No, the 18th over, sorry. Yeah, the 18th over went for 24 runs off the 18th over with a six, 4 fours with a no ball in there as well. Oh, it was incredible. It was some really good hitting, which really got England back into the game. And then Harris Rouse came in and took nearly a hat trick. And it was like, oh no, bowling at Reece Topley and Ollie Stone, who can't bat. And it just happened to be the day that England had rotated some of their squad members out, where they've got slightly weaker bowlers. Bowlers who are slightly weaker with the bat as well. It had everything. It was actually a great finish, and I'm not mad at it anymore now that I've calmed down. The fact that we lost because Reece Topley can't run in a straight line for 22 yards properly.
yes.
But never mind. It was okay. It's been a great series so far. But yeah, England failing to chase 167. I mean, I think the main issue for England was we just lost too many wickets. That was the thing, wasn't it? Like, we just lost too many wickets too early on, too regularly. I mean, I don't know. I think the guys in the middle tried to claw it back, but it was really, numbers 1, 2, 3 falling so early on that put the nail in the coffin. It's really hard to fight back from that, isn't it?
Yeah, because I thought it was a low total from Pakistan. I was because obviously Babar and Rizwan started really well, and when they start really well, you then start thinking, oh, okay, here we go, another 200, 210 for zero after 20. This will be fun, and I really saw that on the cards. I thought they make it look like such a good batting track. And that's a real gift of them and shows their skill. And then Liam Dawson got the breakthrough, taking the wicket of Babar Azam. And Rizwan kind of slowed down a bit, which, Rizwan and Azam batting at a strike rate of about 130 is what they've been criticised for so long. It's when they're not really going at a rate, especially after getting themselves in. They have this habit of they'll kind of blitz the power play. They'll play these beautiful shots, get strike rates of like 150, and then they'll slow right down. And that has been a problem for Pakistan. But yeah, no, they still did all right. And what turned out to be a winning total. I did feel sorry for Kushdil Shah, who came out to chants of Asif, because the entire stadium wanted Asif Ali instead. So that's got to be rough, like walking out into the middle and everybody else wants the other guy.
Well, it shows the knowledge of the Pakistan crowds in terms of they know that Asif Ali is the guy who has been, well, he's able to hit the balls for six from ball one pretty much. So yeah, he's got that ability, and Kushdil Shah, we haven't seen much of that. And if you look at Asif Ali's innings, he only faced 3 balls and got 13 runs, including 2 sixes to get them up to that massive score. But one of the things I thought was interesting is that when Topley got the wicket of Rizwan and Kushdil Shah, and then he was on for a hat trick, and all of the, I don't know if they were chanting this, but it sounded as if all the Pakistan supporters were chanting Topley as if they wanted to see a hat trick. And yeah, it just seems like there's been a good relationship there between the Pakistan fans and the English team, because England have decided to tour, and it's been really good. But just going back to what you said about Rizwan and Azam at the start, it was a slow start. Well, it was a quick start, but it was a slow partnership overall. And when you look back to game 2, which they won and scored 200 to chase down a good score, I think that's where it's good. If you can get 150 in your partnership and then strike it well at the end, then it doesn't matter that you've batted slow through the middle. But if you get out at the wrong time, that's when it can be an issue, because then your new batsmen are coming in and not able to strike it the strike rate you need. So I think that's why they got a score which they probably weren't that happy with at the halfway stage. But yeah, incredible finish for Pakistan.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I think there was a stat that was mentioned early on by David Gower in the commentary that England have never won a T20I when they have lost their first 3 wickets for less than 14 runs.
Well, it showed.
And that record stayed.
Yes.
I mean, it just shows that importance of power play wickets, doesn't it? Like, if you can get those wickets early on, you're always playing catch up. And I think if Pakistan, if Rizwan and Babar Azam trusted their middle order a bit more to come in and do that big hitting, they might speed up and go for it a bit earlier on. Because it looks like every single game, the two of them are trying to bat the whole innings. It looks like that's what they're trying to do from ball one, Zach, just what you're saying about their slow striking. It's almost like they don't have that faith in their middle order and their lower order to come out and finish the game off. Whereas the difference between them and a team like England, where in this game, the top order for England didn't fire. The top 3 were out for single figures, but it was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 who came in and scored the runs. And like, I think that's the benefit that England have at the minute, where they've got power hitters all the way through the innings. And I think what I've enjoyed about this series is people have been rotated in and out to just see who can do what role and who fits where in preparation for that World Cup. Like, that's the point, isn't it? Like, all of this is for the World Cup. And yeah, what do you guys think about Harry Brook?
I think he's absolutely class. I think he's almost guaranteed himself a space, well, at least in the World Cup squad, because just the ease with which I don't know if you guys saw the 6 that he hit over extra cover.
Oh,
he backed up outside leg stump and just played a beautiful lofted drive, and it went absolutely miles. And you know, as you know, very amateur cricketers ourselves, if we like, you understand how hard that is to play when you've actually tried to do it and it has gone nowhere.
Yeah.
So like, that was very, very impressive hitting. And I think him and Ben Duckett have really shown their worth. And I hope they both get into the World Cup squad, to be honest, because I think they both can add a lot of value to the middle order.
I think they'll definitely be travelling. I think, well, Brooks in the squad, but I think Duckett will definitely get himself in there as a travelling reserve, I think, because that 15-man squad's done. It's been chosen. They've had to submit it already for the World Cup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to see. So it does open up the series. I think for the Lahore leg, the last 3 were hoping to see Josh Buttler come back in. I'm hoping to see a bit more of Mark Wood. I think they're managing his fitness. But also a player I'd like to see now that he's back from injury is Chris Woakes. So I think he's a great T20 player. Zach, do you think Woakes has a place in the squad? I know he's in the World Cup squad, but do you think he'll get a few games and deserves his place over somebody like Richard Gleeson, for example?
It's a hard question to answer because the 2020 World Cup's happening in Australia, and Woakes isn't very good in Australia. However, I guess in 2020 cricket it's a bit different. Woakes, I wouldn't say I'd say Woakes' best form is one-day cricket, 50-over cricket, not necessarily 2020. And having been out for so long, it will definitely take some time for him to find his feet. So I think if he gets a few games before the 2020 World Cup, then definitely get him in there because he's got a lot of experience. But I'd rather pick someone who's in form and had some match practice before than someone who's not So it's a hard call because you want to get him in because he's experienced, and he's played in World Cups before. But if there's someone who could potentially do a better job, then why not? What do you think about Liam Dawson? Because obviously he's had a very good game and he's well travelled in the cricket world. He's played in Pakistan before. Do you think that England could fall into the trap of picking him when he's not really played much in Australia? Like he's never played in the Big Bash before, for example.
I think it would be a bit of a risk to pick him in a lot of ways because I'm glad that they've played him the way they've played him, which has been as a bowler who can bat, because he's an all-rounder, and I've watched him play for quite a while, and he's all right in red ball when it comes to batting, but I don't rate him that highly as a white ball batter. Obviously he did very well today, for example, but I don't think he's that good as a batsman. I wouldn't put him at number 5 or something.
No.
As a bowler, he does have a bit of utility, and I quite like that we bowl him in the power play, and I think it offers him a good opportunity to take some early wickets and keep it tight. But I don't know if he is that good. I don't know if he's good enough to then warrant a place over somebody else. The advantage that Liam Dawson gives you is he does lengthen your batting lineup. But yeah, I think potentially picking people that have experience in Australia. And you've got to remember that some players that we haven't seen at all will be in this squad, like Liam Livingstone, who also bowls. And he's very easy to forget that he exists. But he fills that extra spinner role.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Well, looking ahead then to the 2020 World Cup in Australia, Pakistan, their bowling looks very good. It looks like it's well set with Haris Rauf, who's had a lot of Big Bash experience. Mohammad Hasnain, who's the same, and they both bowl very quickly, very accurately. And then also the accurate spin of Mohammad Nawaz and Iftikhar Ahmed. They've looking like they've got a good solid bowling lineup to go to Australia for that 2020 World Cup.
And they're doing this, of course, without Shaheen Sharafridi.
Yeah.
Who is arguably one of the best, if not the best, T20 bowler in the world. Between him and probably Bumrah, I'd say, for pace bowlers anyway. But yeah, I think their bowling Pakistan's bowling has always been a strong point, hasn't it? It's never not been strong, has it? Like you think of back in the day with Waqar and Wasim, they've always had fantastic bowlers, haven't they? Especially their quick bowlers. And Mohammad Hasnain, I think, was phenomenal. I think he took those 2 early wickets in his first over. Yeah, got slapped around by Liam Dawson at the end, but that's what happens as a bowler. And I think he might take away from that game that, he gave up loads of runs at the end. But actually, no, he took 2 early wickets that were key early on, which I probably think was the difference in this game.
Yeah.
There's other players as well that missed out. You've got Shadab Khan, who hasn't played in this series so far. Obviously with his leg spin,
as well. I think he's
really good. And with the bat, he's also a phenomenal player with the bat as well. We saw him in last year's PSL nearly take Islamabad to the final. Wakas Jr., who played in this game, Mr. Slingy McSlingerson, he's a great player, but Slinger, again, he's a great bowler. They've got Dahani, who's been playing as well. There's such depth in this bowling attack that they definitely could be, a front runner in this tournament. And yeah, I'm getting excited for this World Cup now. It's only a couple of months away.
I'm getting excited for the rest of this series. There's still 3 games left, 2 all to play for. And talking of exciting 2020 series, one has just finished between India and Australia. India taking it 2-1. And there have been some close games in that as well. But there have been a few standout players. For one is Cameron Green, who I expect is going to get a very tasty IPL deal the next time the
I don't think he can't at this point. He's proven himself to be the next 23 crore auction. He has opened the batting twice. and he's been brilliant twice. And he also is a very good bowler. He's 9 foot. He's a good fielder. He's got it all going on.
Yeah.
I think he's done very, very well. I was very surprised actually the first time that he opened the batting. Just wasn't expecting to see him there at all. Especially when they were playing, like, I think they're playing Matthew Wade in the first game potentially, who has been an opener like all of his career, and they play Cam Green, and Cam Green absolutely bossed it, and Matthew Wade has carried on his finisher role. So super impressed with him. Another standout player, I think, probably the best white ball batsman in the world right now is Surya Kumar Yadav.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think he's so good. Like, I mean, when he was playing against England, he was just unplayable. We couldn't do a thing about it. And Australia kind of had the same problem where, like, the only time he looks like going out is when he decides. I'm convinced he makes the decision when he goes out, because the shots he plays are so inventive. He's like a mixture between Hardik Pandya and AB de Villiers, when they just get into that position where they don't know like getting out. You can't bowl anywhere to them, and he's just got the long levers that remind me of Pandya. Do you think he is the best at the moment?
Between him and, like, in T20, Joss Butler's obviously got his hat in the ring as well. In there, but yeah, he's definitely up there with the best T20 bats in the whole world. No Rishabh Pant this game. He came back in for the last game in the 8-over-a-side game, but left out again, looking for DK instead with his finishing role.
Well, he's struggling, isn't he?
I don't mind it.
Yeah, I think he has been struggling of late in the 2020 role in terms of understanding what his role is. Because when he first burst onto the scene for the Delhi Capitals, he was someone who would strike from ball one. He'd come in 2 or 3 wickets down and just have a go, and he'd normally get 50s off not many balls. Whereas now he doesn't really know where he sits in that Indian team, because when you look at the middle order of India, you've got Kohli, who's coming back into form, which is good timing for the World Cup. You've got Surya Kumar Yadav, who we've talked about, and Hardik Pandya, who is probably the best 2020 all-rounder in the world at the moment, challenged by Cam Green, as we've seen. But that middle order is so good that Rishabh Pant doesn't really fit. He's not really a finisher either. Whereas Dinesh Karthik, if you've got Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav and Hardik Pandya coming in after an opening partnership of KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma, the last thing you want to see is Dinesh Karthik walking to the wicket to score a 20 off 3 balls. So I think that's why they picked Dinesh Karthik, because the rest of them are doing so well at the moment. And you can understand why they won the series.
Yeah, I think the team that we saw today, that 11 is going to be the starting 11 in the World Cup for India. I think that's the best 11 that they can do. I'm sorry, James. There's no Arshdeep Singh in that team. But I think Harsh Patel is just a better all-round bowler for that. Bhuvi in there opens the bowling. Akshar Patel and Chahal as the frontline spin. I just think they've got all bases covered.
Not even Jadeja.
I agree with you, but I personally would put Arshdeep instead of Harsha Patel
for his batting.
Oh, no. That is the thing that Harshal gives you. He does give you batting. He means that they bat until 8. And yeah, that is very useful, especially in T20. It kind of gives Rohit and KL license to hit from ball 1. But I think Arshdeep is a better death bowler at the moment, because he nails his Yorkers. And Harsha Patel, I feel like the game's almost up for him. I say this, he's going to go on and be player of the tournament in the World Cup. But it seems like he's going for far more runs than he did last year.
Yeah.
And it seems like everybody's kind of expecting, oh, right, okay, well, he's got like 2 deliveries that he does. It's slower ball into the wicket and then quicker ball into the wicket. And he uses them about the same. So I'm just going to play it square instead of trying to hit it straight back over. And that was how he was getting most of his wickets. It was caught long on, long off because he uses change of pace so many times. So for me, Arshdeep just nailing Yorker after Yorker has more value at the death. But I completely see the point that you might want to extend that bowling lineup. That being said, absolutely agree with the rest of what you said, because I think Axar Patel is so good, and I could so see India not playing him.
Yeah.
And
he's been
that's
outstanding, and
that's the reason I said it, because 100% I can see India picking Jadeja over Akshar. It pains me to my core as a Chennai Super Kings fan to not back Jadoo, but I just think going off current form, you have to go with Akshar. I don't know. It's an interesting one. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for the World Cup. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a great tournament. I'm even more excited now that England aren't carrying the dead weight of Jason Roy and Owen Morgan and having to shoehorn them into an order, which means that we can see Moeen Ali smashing it around everywhere. Yeah, it's going to be great.
To be fair, Benj, if we were the England selectors, Samit Patel would be playing for England.
Maybe not anymore. I think his 100 would have taken him out of that.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, we'd definitely be seeing like Luke Fletcher probably.
Yeah, probably. And on that note, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave your comments. We want to know what you think about these teams, because they're probably the 4 best 2020 teams in the world at this moment. So
Sri Lanka.
it'll be maybe, yeah, true. But yeah, looking forward to that World Cup. And make sure you listen to us on all those podcast sites that you listen to, and follow us on social media. We're at Cricket Nerds Pod. And I think that is everything. So we hope you have a good rest of your day, and we will see you later.